At Katt Williams, who's getting exposed next? Hashtag Katt has the answers.
He said came true. So there's some truth to everything that he knows, and the fact that he's saying I held back a little bit, he probably has stuff on people, and he just used jabs instead of throwing that haymaker. He could have, I'm assuming, he could have ended careers.
Kim Porter was working on a book before she died.
Oh gosh, Katt Williams is back, and this time he's blowing the lid off something so explosive it's going to shake Hollywood to its core. He's exposing all the that are allegedly buried because of Diddy. And when I say bodies, honey, I mean everyone who supposedly got silenced because Diddy needed his secrets to stay buried. From mysterious deaths to sudden illnesses, the connections are so wild they'll make your head spin, and it looks like Katt Williams might have been right all along. Let's start with the first person who allegedly got buried because of Diddy, and believe it or not, it was his own mentor. Diddy's rise to the top started at Uptown Records, where Andre Harrell took him under his wing like a baby bird. Andre, as CEO, gave Diddy his first big break, and together they built this incredible music empire. But after some messy business drama, Diddy spread his wings and flew off to start Bad Boy Records. Fast forward to 2020, and Andre Harrell tragically passed away at 59 from heart failure. Now they're saying it was natural causes, but honey, when you see how many others in Diddy's circle have met similar fates, it makes you look at everything sideways, and here's the tea. Word on the street is that Andre, just like Cassie, was about to expose some major dirt about Diddy in a tell-all book, but then he passed away and the book got buried deeper than my high school diary.
The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma.
And speaking of tragic losses that'll break your heart, let's talk about Kim Porter. Her death in 2018 shocked everyone to their core. She was just 47, and the medical examiner ruled it pneumonia. But Chile, people have been whispering that there's way more to this story than meets the eye. Kim was allegedly working on a tell-all book before her sudden passing. And what happened next will have your jaw on the floor.
I just can't believe there's somebody that had the normal flu, that had doctors on speed dial, that they had enough money that they could get the half of the hospital to come to the house and take care of her.
Now hold on to your seats because this is where things get wild. When Kim passed away, Diddy showed up at her house with his security team faster than gossip spreads at a family reunion, and they confiscated her phone. Kim's friends were absolutely devastated, and they started asking questions because things just weren't adding up in their minds. Get this, Kim allegedly texted some of her friends saying, "He got me," and according to some absolutely shocking reports, there was found on her pillowcases. But wait, it gets even more disturbing. There was supposedly a slight trail of on the bedroom floor leading to the bathroom. And let's not forget about this alleged book Kim was writing. Honey, it contained details so crazy it would make a reality show look tame. The book supposedly revealed how Diddy put his hands on Kim, how she was isolated and manipulated like a puppet on strings, and some very private details about their intimate life, including how Kim would use certain toys to please Diddy. It gets even darker. Her house was allegedly being wired, phone lines tapped, and Diddy was supposedly paying people to watch her every move like some kind of twisted surveillance operation. The drama gets even messier with details about how Diddy wanted full custody of their twins, but Kim wasn't having it. She threatened to expose him if he ever tried to take her babies. But when the book finally came out, people were shocked to discover that Kim's torture was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. We're talking allegations about Diddy sleeping with young boys, forcing threesomes with Kim, and something so disturbing it'll make your skin crawl. He allegedly forced Kim to hook up with multiple people before she gave birth as some sort of energy harvesting ritual. Kim's ex-husband, ALB, sure tried to warn us about her suspicious death, posting cryptic messages on social media like Kimberly didn't die of pneumonia. He straight up called it a red rum. Spell that backward, honey. But here's where it gets even more chilling. ALB sure ended up in a coma in 2022, with almost every organ in his body failing out of nowhere. The doctors were completely stumped, couldn't figure out what caused this sudden health crisis. But let's keep it real. Could his near-death experience be connected to him speaking out about Kim's death?
And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been?
And just like Kim Porter, another tragedy struck the Uptown Records family, Heavy D, one of their first major stars and a key player in Diddy's early career. In 2011, at just 44 years old, Heavy D collapsed outside his Beverly Hills home and died from a pulmonary embolism caused by a clot in his lung. Once again, they called it natural causes. But Chile, people are starting to ask, how many natural deaths can happen around one man before it stops being a coincidence?
And the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died.
The pattern is absolutely chilling. It seems like anyone who gets too close to Diddy or dares to challenge his narrative somehow ends up in life-threatening situations. And speaking of tragic losses, we can't ignore one of hip-hop's most heartbreaking deaths. Biggie Smalls, his passing remains one of hip-hop's most infamous unsolved mysteries, and honey, all roads seem to lead back to Diddy. That fateful night in the late 90s, Biggie and Sean P. Diddy Combs were at an after-party together when tragedy struck. Biggie was and killed in a drive-by while sitting in his SUV.
Hold Ms. Wallen's hand and explain to what happened to her son that night. It was one of the, I guess, most emotional times I've ever had in my life.
But wait, because years later, Uncle Ron, one of Beyoncé's former bodyguards, dropped a bombshell that shook the industry to its core. Uncle Ron claimed that Jay-Z and Diddy were conspirators in Biggie's demise. According to him, there was something much darker and deeper behind Biggie's death than just the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry everyone talks about.
Finding out that he wanted all the rights to all his catalogs. I turned him down.
Uncle Ron even made a chilling tell-all video exposing the alleged conspiracy and connecting the dots between Diddy.
The plot thickens because Uncle Ron made this absolutely chilling tell-all video connecting all the dots between Diddy and Biggie's untimely passing. But here's where it gets scary. Less than 24 hours after releasing the video, Uncle Ron reportedly died under mysterious circumstances too, caused pneumonia at the age of 59. The timing is so suspicious it'll make your head spin.
Uncle Ron, Beyonce's ex-bodyguard, who threatened to expose them. Yeah, threatened to expose them, I believe, in 2023. Is deceased. He's passed away.
And just like Uncle Ron, Craig Mack, another Bad Boy star, passed away in 2018 at just 47 from heart failure. After leaving the spotlight, he joined a cult and lived a quiet life in South Carolina. Now, this isn't just any cult. Craig joined this group in 2011 and people discovered it when a video surfaced of him rapping inside the church in 2012. But child, what was happening in that compound was more disturbing than any horror movie. Former members of the cult came forward with stories that'll make your skin crawl. They revealed that the leader, Ralph Stair, was taking advantage of dozens of people and children, spreading STDs to his victims. He got arrested when footage came out showing him a 2-year-old girl's during a worship service, among several other accusations. The details that came out in these allegations were so disgusting they'll turn your stomach. This is the same leader that Craig trusted completely, dedicating his whole life to after leaving the music industry. But his death added yet another name to the growing list of untimely losses tied to Bad Boy Records.
Craig Mack went to his grave mad at Bad Boy. Craig Mack told his people, told those religious people that don't let them pay for of mine.
Now let me spill some serious tea about what was really going on behind the scenes. Sources close to Craig revealed that he was getting more and more frustrated with the deal he'd signed with Diddy. The micromanagement was absolutely suffocating, and remember, this is the same Diddy who got fired from Uptown Records for his allegedly bullish and controlling management style. When Diddy tried to control Craig Mack like a puppet master, Craig wasn't having any of it. He openly stood up against Diddy's control, which, honey, we all know didn't sit well with Mr. Bad Boy himself. This resistance led to Diddy effectively burying his career at Bad Boy Records.
Craig Mack manager, right? Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't with him no more.
Now, let's talk about Anthony Wolf Jones, because this story will have you shook. Wolf wasn't just any bodyguard to Diddy. He was his ride-or-die friend, protector, and one of the key players in Bad Boy Records' rise to fame. Wolf had been there since day one, even investing $300,000 of his own money to help launch the label. But as Diddy's empire grew bigger than his ego, their relationship started cracking like a mirror in a horror movie, exposing the dark, twisted side of working with Puff.
Wolf's mother let me hear something that what they call it, the portion, Atlanta, that Puff told Meech, go ahead and do what you gotta do, when him and Wolf and them was beefing outside.
While Diddy was living his best life, spending money like water, Wolf was feeling completely disrespected and undervalued. He asked Diddy to pay back his $300,000 investment so he could walk away, but Puff had the audacity to refuse.
Puff was putting a battery in Wolf's back, talking about, I don't need you no more. When I get this, do this Universal deal, I'm gonna give you $300,000 and leave you the alone. Wolf said, you could never leave me alone. You understand?
The situation got even messier when Wolf started noticing how Diddy was treating others in his circle. Wolf wanted out, but Diddy had other plans that would make a soap opera look tame. According to Meech, the leader of the Black Mafia family BMF, Diddy allegedly stirred up drama between Wolf and BMF, knowing it would lead to disaster. Meech claims Diddy told him he didn't need Wolf anymore and encouraged him to cut ties. When Wolf found out about this betrayal, Chile...
Wolf get by some kids from BMF. Actually, the dude that he put down with BMF. This brags about cussing Wolf's mother out.
And then on that fateful night of November 11th, 2003, everything came to a tragic head. Wolf and his right-hand man, Lamont Rez Gertie, crossed paths with Big Meech and other BMF members outside Club Chaos in Atlanta. All that tension that had been brewing exploded like a pressure cooker. In a twist that'll break your heart, one of Wolf's old friends who had recently joined BMF turned on him right in the middle of the fight, allegedly to prove his loyalty to Meech. Shots were fired, and both Wolf and Rez were down right there on the spot.
The standoff happened. Big Meech and those guys, in self-defense, ended up Wolf. And then once Big Meech gets off house arrest, Puffy throws him a big party.
But wait, because the drama doesn't end there. After Wolf's death, whispers started circulating that would shake the Bad Boy empire to its core. Rumors that Wolf might have been the real father of Justin Combs, Diddy's firstborn. Fans couldn't help but notice the striking resemblance between Justin and Wolf, and Meech's recent comments have only added fuel to this already blazing fire.
Life really got real serious when we get married.
I put up a picture of Wolf and one of Puffy's sons, Justin Combs. Look at him.
Now let's talk about Aaron Carter, because this story will give you chills. Another bright star who met a tragic end, allegedly connected to Diddy. Aaron Carter tragically passed away on November 5th, 2022, in circumstances that still have people raising their eyebrows. But what makes this even more disturbing is what happened in the months leading up to his death. Aaron was desperately trying to warn us, suggesting something sinister was happening in his life.
Following developing news tonight in Lancaster, where pop star Aaron Carter has died at the age of 34.
Yeah, the troubled performer grew up in the limelight, but he was in and out of rehab several times in his short life.
I go on my Twitter and I see people saying, you look like you have AIDS, you should go die. I don't understand how I dedicated 22 years of my life to my fans, and now they turn on me.
Do you regret ever getting involved in...
I didn't have a choice. It got bad.
In his final days, Aaron was literally begging for help, saying he felt trapped in his own home like a bird in a gilded cage. He revealed something absolutely bizarre. His realtor wouldn't sell his house, leaving him stuck in a place he described as unsafe. These desperate cries for help are now being looked at in a whole new light, especially given his connections to Hollywood's elite, including, you guessed it, Diddy.
You think maybe when you get a little older, you'll mellow out a little bit, be a little more like him? Or
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna get worse.
That's good. That's good. I think everybody will enjoy that.
There are photos circulating from Aaron's younger years showing him hanging out with Diddy, which might seem innocent on the surface. But honey, when you connect these dots with what we now know about Diddy's infamous parties, things take a turn so dark it'll make your blood run cold.
And you said you take opiates for surgeries that you've had in the past. Do you ever worry that you could ever overdose?
I mean, there's always that worry, but there's also the fact that I had to kiss my sister goodbye in the coffin.
And the timing of Aaron's death, suspicious doesn't even begin to cover it. Just as he started hinting that he had information that could expose certain powerful figures, he was gone. It's an absolutely heartbreaking end to a life filled with such incredible talent, and it leaves us with more questions than answers. Here's what we all need to be asking ourselves. Can all of this really be just a string of unfortunate coincidences? Or is there something much darker going on here, where everyone connected to Diddy who dares to speak out somehow ends up meeting an untimely end? The pattern is so clear, it's screaming at us. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Because trust me, you do not want to miss our next deep dive into the Diddy saga. And honey, you better have your popcorn ready, because this story is getting juicier by the minute. Juicier by the minute.